we gather to reflect on a trait that is truly precious: patience. Patience is not just about enduring hardships, but it is an act of worship that brings us closer to Allah. SWT. In a world filled with trials and challenges, it is patience that helps us find peace and grow in faith. Let's reflect on the importance of patience with 5 key points. Dear brothers and sisters, when we talk about patience, we must first understand that it is not a mere reaction to difficulties. It is an intentional choice that requires deep faith in Allah. The essence of patience is rooted in our belief that Allah is in control of everything and that nothing happens without His will. When a person is patient, they are essentially saying, I trust Allah and I believe that whatever is happening is part of His divine wisdom. Allah, and be patient, for indeed Allah is with the patient. Qur'an 8:46. Do you hear that? Allah is not just with anyone in hardship. He is specifically with the patient. This means that the more patience we show, the closer we come to Allah's support, His mercy and His guidance. Our faith is what drives our patience. When a believer faces a trial, it is their trust in Allah's plan that allows them to endure. The hardship becomes not a burden, but an opportunity to grow closer to Allah. Let us think about the trials in our lives, the moments when we are faced with difficulties that seem insurmountable. Whether it is the loss of a loved one, health problems, financial struggles, or personal disappointments, the act of being patient is not about silently suffering. No, my dear brothers and sisters, it is about choosing to surrender to Allah with complete trust, knowing that this moment is part of His plan. Imagine a tree in a storm. The winds may howl and the rain may pour, but the tree remains rooted to the ground. Its branches may bend and sway, but its roots are firmly planted. This is like us when we are patient. The winds of hardship may blow, but our faith remains firm. We believe that Allah, SWT, will never abandon us, and that every difficulty is accompanied by ease, as He promises. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Qur'an 94:6. And so when we endure with patience, we are not just enduring with our own strength, we are tapping into a divine source of strength that comes from our connection with Allah. This act of trust in Him strengthens our faith. You see, brothers and sisters, patience is not about doing nothing. Patience is an active expression of our faith. It is the acknowledgement that we cannot control the world around us, but we can control our response to it, and that response is anchored in our belief in Allah's wisdom and mercy. Think about the trials faced by the prophets of Allah. Take Prophet Ayub, Job, for example, who endured immense suffering for many years, losing his wealth, his health, and even his family. Yet through it all, he remained patient. His faith in Allah never wavered, and because of his unwavering patience, Allah rewarded him with immense blessings that far surpassed anything he had lost. This is the result of true patience. It leads to rewards beyond our imagination. Similarly, Prophet Joseph was wronged by his brothers, thrown into a well, sold into slavery, and unjustly imprisoned. Despite all of this, he remained patient, trusting that Allah had a greater plan for him. His patience not only brought him success, but also brought him closer to the fulfillment of a greater purpose, which was to help his family in their time of need. His story is a reminder to us that even in the darkest of times, if we remain patient, Allah will open doors for us in ways we never expected. Patience, in essence, is not just the act of waiting. It is a demonstration of faith. It is the belief that Allah's timing is always best, and that even when things seem difficult or delayed, His plan is always more complete than our own. When we show patience, we are telling Allah, I trust you completely. I know that I may not understand why this is happening now, but I believe that you know what is best for me. So when you feel yourself growing tired, or when the difficulty seems unbearable, remember that your patience is an act of faith. It is an acknowledgement of your belief in Allah's wisdom and in the power of His plan. And remember, Allah never lets the patient go unrewarded. Indeed, the reward for patience is greater than we can imagine. Brothers and sisters, when life tests us with challenges, it is easy to feel overwhelmed, anxious, and even desperate. But in those moments of hardship, the key to finding inner peace lies in patience. Patience is not simply about enduring a difficult situation. It is about navigating through the storm with a calm heart, trusting that Allah is in control and knowing that He is with us every step of the way. Think about a person who is caught in a raging storm. The winds may be fierce, the rain may be torrential, and the thunder may roar. In such a storm, it is easy to panic, to feel lost and disoriented. But then, imagine that the person has found shelter, an inner peace, a sense of calm within, knowing that they are safe in the protection of Allah's mercy. This is what patience does for us. It is the shelter that gives us peace when everything around us seems to be falling apart. Allah tells us in the Qur'an, you who have believed, seek help through patience and prayer. Indeed, Allah is with the patient. Qur'an 2:15-3. When we are patient, we are not merely enduring the trial passively, we are actively choosing to seek Allah's help. It is in this act of seeking His support with patience and prayer that peace enters our hearts. We realize that no matter how difficult the circumstances, we are not alone. Allah is with us, and His presence provides us with a tranquility that transcends the external chaos. You see, patience in times of difficulty is not just a passive act. It is an act of resilience, a conscious choice to trust in the wisdom of Allah's plan. And this trust, this belief that there is wisdom in the trial, that there is a greater purpose behind the hardship, brings us peace. We start to see our problems from a different perspective, not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth, purification, and closeness to Allah. When you find yourself in a situation that causes you distress, whether it's a loss, a trial in your personal life, or a difficult situation at work or school, pause for a moment and reflect. Do not rush to panic. Instead, take a deep breath and remind yourself of the profound wisdom of our Creator. Allah has designed this moment for you, and within it is a hidden blessing. By patiently accepting this test, you open your heart to the peace that only comes from knowing that everything is in Allah's hands. One of the beautiful aspects of patience is that it is not dependent on the circumstances around us. The world may be chaotic, relationships may be strained, and external conditions may seem unbearable. But the inner peace that comes from patience is not affected by these external factors. It is a peace that comes from within, from knowing that our trust is in the one who controls everything. Let me give you an example from the life of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. When he was faced with the rejection of his people, the abuse, the persecution, and the struggles of his mission, he did not react with anger or despair. Instead, he exhibited unparalleled patience. His patience brought him peace. Even when he was in the most difficult of circumstances, he was at peace with the plan of Allah, trusting that whatever happened was part of a greater divine wisdom. In the face of hardship, he would turn to Allah for comfort, saying, Allah, I have no power to change my situation, but I place my trust in you. Grant me peace in my heart and strength in my soul. This peace that the Prophet Pebble experienced, even in the most testing times, was the result of his unwavering patience and complete trust in Allah. When we choose to be patient, we are not denying the pain or hardship. We are not pretending that everything is perfect when it's not. Instead, we are acknowledging the reality of the situation while maintaining a deep trust in Allah. We acknowledge that life has ups and downs, and that every difficulty we face is a moment of purification, a chance to grow stronger, and a reminder of Allah's presence in our lives. This awareness is what brings peace. Moreover, patience teaches us to be in control of our emotions. When we become impatient, we allow anger, frustration, and despair to control us. But when we are patient, we take charge of our emotions and allow ourselves to respond with calmness, understanding, and faith. Patience is not a denial of our emotions, it is the ability to control them in a way that leads us to peace. Let us not forget that peace is not something we can buy or attain through material means. True peace is a gift from Allah. And the key to unlocking this gift is patience. When we show patience in the face of hardship, we allow ourselves to experience the serenity that comes from placing our complete trust in Allah. Allah Think about how many times in our lives we have worried and feared over matters that we had no control over. We may have become anxious, sleepless and restless. But then, when we finally let go and put our trust in Allah, we found peace. The problem may not have disappeared, but our hearts became calm. This is the effect of patience. It turns our worries into trust and our despair into hope. Brothers and sisters in Islam, when we talk about patience, we often think of it as a way to endure life's hardships. But did you know that patience is not just a tool to survive difficult times? It is in fact a pathway that leads us directly to Jannah, the eternal paradise. Yes, Allah has promised the patient ones a reward like no other, and that reward is the greatest gift of all, the eternal bliss and peace of paradise. Allah tells us in the Qur'an, be patient. For indeed, the reward for patience is the most immense. Quran 39:10. In this verse, Allah tells us that the reward for patience is something so immense, so grand, that we cannot even imagine the depth of its beauty. And what is that reward? It is none other than Jannah, the gardens of eternal happiness, where there is no pain, no suffering, no loss. Only peace, joy, and the pleasure of being in the presence of Allah. Brothers and sisters, think about the moments in our lives when we face trials, loss, hardship, pain, suffering, or disappointment. In those moments, it is easy to become disheartened, to question why these things are happening to us. But Allah reminds us that these very trials are the keys that open the door to paradise. Each difficulty we face, when met with patience, is an opportunity to earn the reward of Jannah. We know that the path to paradise is not an easy one. It is not a path paved with ease and comfort. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, in paradise there are things which no eye has seen, no ear has heard, and no human heart has ever imagined. Kasa al-Bukai. In other words, the rewards in Jannah are far beyond anything we can comprehend. But to reach that incredible destination, we must traverse the path of patience. Patience is the compass that guides us through the trials and difficulties of this world, helping us to stay on the right path until we finally reach the gates of paradise. Let us reflect on the stories of the prophets who endured immense trials, yet their patience was unparalleled. Take, for example, the story of Prophet Ayub, Job. He was a man blessed with wealth, family, and health, but all of these were taken from him in a series of intense trials. His health deteriorated, his wealth was lost, and even his family members were taken from him. Yet, through all of this, Prophet Ayub remained patient, never once questioning Allah's wisdom. He continued to praise Allah, and in his patience, he found his way to paradise. Allah says in the Qur'an, indeed, we found him patient. How excellent a servant indeed he was, one repeatedly turning back to Allah. Quran 38:44. This is the reward of patience. Allah rewarded Prophet Ayub not just by restoring his health and wealth, but by elevating him to the highest of ranks in paradise. Similarly, we see the patience of Prophet Yusuf. He was betrayed by his own brothers, thrown into a well, sold into slavery, and wrongfully imprisoned. Yet, throughout these trials, he remained patient and trusted in Allah's plan. In the end, Allah elevated him to a position of great honor, and the reward for his patience was not only the reunion with his family, but also the ultimate reward of Jannah. These stories are not just historical accounts. They are lessons for us today. They remind us that patience in the face of hardship is a means of purification. Through our patience, we are not just enduring, we are growing spiritually, purifying our hearts, and drawing closer to Allah. Every time we are patient, we are demonstrating our trust in Allah's plan. And every moment of patience is a step toward paradise. But what is the true essence of this patience that leads to Jannah? It is patience in three key areas of our lives. Patience in worship. We must be patient in fulfilling our obligations to Allah. Sometimes it is difficult to pray 5 times a day, to fast in the heat of summer, or to give charity when we feel we have little. But patience in worship, continuing to worship Allah sincerely, no matter the difficulty, is a means of earning Allah's pleasure and reward. Patience in adversity. When we are faced with trials and hardships, it is our patience that keeps us grounded. The true test of patience is not just enduring the difficulties, but remaining hopeful and trusting in Allah, knowing that this trial will pass and that it is an opportunity for us to grow spiritually. Patience in adversity is a sign of our complete reliance on Allah, and through it we earn immense rewards. Patience with people. Sometimes the most difficult trials come from the people around us. Whether it is family, friends, or co-workers, dealing with difficult people can test our patience. But it is in these moments that we must remember that our patience is a means of purifying our hearts and earning Allah's love. The Prophet, PBUH, said, "The strong person is not the one who can overpower others, but the one who can control themselves when they are angry." Sahih al-Bukhari. When we practice patience with others, we are not only strengthening our own character, but also following in the footsteps of the Prophet, PBUH, who showed us the ultimate example of patience in his interactions with others. Brothers and sisters, the reward for patience is so great and the path it leads to is so beautiful. Allah SWT says in the Qur'an, "Indeed, the patient will be given their reward without account." This is a promise from Allah, a promise that those who are patient will receive a reward beyond measure. The reward of patience is not only paradise, but it is a closeness to Allah that cannot be attained through anything else. And in Jannah, the patient ones will be honored in a way that no one else will be. They will be greeted with peace and joy, and they will be granted the highest ranks of paradise. Brothers and sisters, in life we are constantly interacting with others, whether it is with family, friends, colleagues, or even strangers. Human relationships are complex, and at times we may find ourselves in situations where we feel hurt, misunderstood, or even wronged by others. In these moments, it is easy to let our emotions take over and react impulsively. But remember, dear brothers and sisters, that patience in our interactions with others is one of the most powerful tools for building and maintaining strong, lasting relationships. Patience with others is not just about tolerating their behavior. It goes much deeper than that. It is about understanding, empathy, and controlling our responses, even when others may act in ways that frustrate or upset us. It is about responding with wisdom and calmness, not just for the sake of maintaining peace, but because we know that our relationships are an important part, that the true strength lies in controlling our temper and showing kindness even when we are wronged. The Prophet, PBUH, said, "The strong person is not the one who can overpower others, but the one who controls himself when he is angry." Sahih al-Bukhari. This teaches us that patience in moments of conflict or frustration is a sign of inner strength. It is not a sign of weakness to hold back our anger and choose to respond with patience. On the contrary, it takes great strength to remain patient when we are provoked. When we choose patience over anger, we are choosing to follow the path of the Prophet, PVUH, who responded with kindness even in the face of adversity. Patience in relationships also requires understanding that every person is different. We all come from different backgrounds, have different experiences, and possess different temperaments. At times we may misunderstand each other or clash due to these differences. But when we choose to be patient, we allow space for understanding and compromise. We learn to see things from the other person's perspective, and this creates a foundation of empathy and respect. In our daily lives, how often do we get upset with a family member or a friend because they did something that irritated us? We may raise our voices, react harshly, or even distance ourselves from them. But when we choose patience, we take a step back and ask ourselves, why is this person acting this way? What might they be going through? Patience gives us the ability to see beyond the surface and to understand the challenges others may be facing. This patience is especially important within the family. The family is the first and most important institution in our lives. When we are patient with our spouses, children, and parents, we build relationships based on love, mutual respect, and understanding. The Prophet PBUH said, "The best of you are those who are the best to their wives." This hadith emphasizes the importance of patience and kindness in our relationships with our spouses. It is through patience that we learn to overlook faults, forgive mistakes, and support each other through life's challenges. Similarly, when we show patience with our children, we are teaching them valuable lessons about empathy, respect, and how to manage their own emotions. Patience is the glue that holds families together and strengthens the bonds of love between its members. In friendships and other relationships, patience plays a crucial role in creating harmony. We all go through ups and downs, and sometimes we may unintentionally hurt one another. But if we practice patience and choose to forgive and forget, we build deeper, more meaningful connections. Remember that no one is perfect, and everyone has their own struggles. Patience allows us to accept others' imperfections, just as we hope others will accept ours. Moreover, patience with others helps us avoid unnecessary conflict. Often we may get upset over minor issues, and these small disagreements can snowball into bigger problems if not addressed with patience. If we learn to let go of trivial matters, to speak with kindness, and to choose to respond calmly, we can avoid many unnecessary conflicts. The Prophet, PBUH, said, "A believer does not slander, curse, or speak indecently." Tamidhi. This shows that patience is not just about enduring in silence. It is also about how we speak to one another. Our words have the power to either strengthen or damage our relationships. When we speak with patience and kindness, we preserve the dignity of the other person and maintain the peace in our relationships. Patience is also about giving others the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes we may feel hurt by something someone did or said, and our first reaction may be to jump to conclusions. But patience allows us to pause and reflect before reacting. We remind ourselves that the other person may not have intended to hurt us, or they may be going through challenges we are unaware of. By choosing patience, we prevent misunderstandings and preserve the harmony in our relationships. Think about the patience that the Prophet PVU exhibited when he was faced with hostility and rejection. His people mocked him, insulted him, and plotted against him, yet he never retaliated with harshness. Instead, he responded with patience and compassion, knowing that ultimately Allah would deal with those who wronged him. The Prophet PVU teaches us that patience in the face of opposition leads to greater reward. Allah SWT says, "And if you punish, then punish with an equivalent of that with which you were harmed. But if you are patient, it is better for those who are patient." Qur'an 16:12-6. This teaches us that when we are patient in the face of mistreatment or hostility, we earn Allah's pleasure, and that patience will ultimately lead to a greater reward than responding with anger or retaliation. Patience in our relationships strengthens our bonds and draws us closer to the ones we love. It helps us navigate the complexities of human interactions with wisdom and grace. When we practice patience with others, we are not only improving our relationships in this world, but also earning immense rewards in the hereafter. Let us make a conscious effort to be patient with our families, friends, colleagues, and even strangers. By doing so, we will build relationships based on trust, understanding, and love. And ultimately, we will be following the example set by the Prophet Muhammad, who was the most patient and merciful of all. My dear brothers and sisters, in life we are often faced with situations that challenge our patience. These challenges can range from small inconveniences to major trials that shake us to our core. But what we must realize is that within every trial, there is an opportunity, not just for patience, but for profound gratitude. Patience, when exercised properly, leads us to a deeper sense of thankfulness for what we have and for the lessons we learn along the way. Patience and gratitude go hand in hand, because when we are patient, we are acknowledging the wisdom and plan of Allah, SWT. When things do not go as we want them to, our patience opens the door to gratitude. This is a beautiful concept. Think about it. When we remain patient in times of difficulty, we are indirectly saying to Allah, "I trust your plan and I am thankful for your wisdom." And this is the essence of gratitude, to accept Allah's decree, whatever it may be, and to appreciate the blessings He has bestowed upon us, even in the most challenging of circumstances. Allah SWT, "And if you are grateful, I will surely increase your favor upon you." Qur'an 14:7. This verse is a clear reminder that gratitude is a powerful tool. It not only helps us appreciate what we have, but it also opens the doors to even more blessings from Allah. And it is through patience that we develop the ability to be truly grateful. When we are patient, we are not just enduring hardship, we are accepting that every moment is a part of Allah's greater plan for us. And in that acceptance, we find peace and gratitude. Patience teaches us that everything in life is temporary. No matter how difficult the situation, we know that it will eventually pass. This understanding brings with it an incredible sense of relief and peace. The moments of hardship do not last forever, and this knowledge fosters gratitude within our hearts. We begin to look at our lives with a greater perspective. Rather than focusing on what we lack, we focus on what we still have. This shift in focus is the key to gratitude. You see, my dear brothers and sisters, gratitude is not about living in a state of constant happiness or pretending that everything is perfect. It's not about ignoring the challenges we face or denying the pain we feel. It's about recognizing that even in the hardest of times, there are still countless reasons to be thankful. In the midst of trial, patience enables us to see the hidden blessings. It opens our eyes to the small mercies that we often overlook in times of ease. Consider the example of Prophet Ayub, whose life was marked by immense suffering, loss of health, wealth and family. Yet, despite his hardships, Prophet Ayub was patient. And through that patience, he recognized the mercy and blessings of Allah, even in his suffering. He thanked Allah not for his suffering, but for the opportunity to grow closer to Him, to purify his soul, and to learn humility. So he was grateful for the strength to endure, for the support of his faith, and for the hope of eventual relief. This is the true essence of gratitude. Indeed, we found him patient. How excellent a servant. Indeed, he was one repeatedly turning back to Allah. Qur'an 38:44. This is the reward of patience. It leads to gratitude, which leads to even more blessings. When we choose to be patient in our trials, we are not only earning the reward of Allah, but we are also nurturing within ourselves an attitude of gratitude. We start to see the good in everything, even in the most difficult situations. When we are patient with others, it leads us to gratitude for the people in our lives. How often do we take our loved ones for granted? How many times do we become frustrated with our family, friends or colleagues without realizing how much they truly mean to us? Patience in our relationships enables us to appreciate the people around us, to focus on their positive qualities, and to be thankful for their presence in our lives. Instead of reacting with frustration or anger, patience allows us to respond with kindness and appreciation. The Prophet Muhammad said, "One who does not thank the people, does not thank Allah." This hadith emphasizes the importance of showing gratitude not only to Allah, but also to the people who are part of our lives. When we practice patience with them, we learn to appreciate their good qualities, to forgive their shortcomings, and to express our gratitude for their presence in our lives. This creates a cycle of positive energy. Patience leads to gratitude, and gratitude strengthens our relationships. Furthermore, patience with Allah's decree leads us to gratitude for His infinite mercy. We know that Allah is the best of planners, and that His plan for us is always better than anything we could have imagined. When we are patient in the face of hardship, we are expressing our trust in His wisdom. This trust, in turn, deepens our gratitude for the blessings He has given us and for the trials that He has chosen for us. Even in difficulty, we are able to say, Alhamdulillah, all praises for Allah, knowing that He is in control of everything. Sometimes the trials we face are the very things that lead us to recognize the importance of our blessings. It is easy to take things for granted when life is smooth, but when we are tested, we begin to realize just how much we have. Perhaps it is the health we take for granted, the family we overlook, or the peace we don't fully appreciate until it is threatened. Patience allows us to hold on to our faith, and through that faith we come to a deeper understanding of how truly blessed we are. Patience also opens our hearts to the spiritual gifts that Allah bestows upon us in times of difficulty. Often, it is through hardship that we find our deepest connection to Allah. The act of waiting, of trusting, of submitting to His will is a form of worship in itself. And when we embrace this with patience, we find ourselves becoming more aware of the countless blessings Allah has granted us, not just in the good times, but in every moment of our lives. And we will surely reward the patient for their reward with the best of what they used to do. Qur'an 16:96. This verse reassures us that our patience is not in vain. It leads to rewards far beyond what we can imagine, and it transforms our hearts, helping us to become more grateful for everything we have, both the visible and invisible blessings. The more we are patient, the more we realize that gratitude isn't just about saying thank you for the obvious blessings, but recognizing the subtleties of Allah's mercy in every moment of our lives. Patience and gratitude are two sides of the same coin. Through patience, we learn to appreciate Allah's plan and the blessings He has bestowed upon us, even in our trials. By practicing patience, we open our hearts to gratitude, and through gratitude, we strengthen our